Coca-Cola, a brand known around the globe, has a history that extends over 135 years. However, beneath this familiar veneer lies a darker, less publicized story of labor rights violations and human suffering. From the bustling streets of Bogota to the rural heartlands of India, Coca-Cola's operations have been marred by allegations of union busting, worker exploitation, and even murder. This dark history, spanning several decades, reveals a stark contrast between the company's public image and its treatment of the workers who produce the beloved beverage. As we delve into the shadows cast by Coca-Cola's global empire, we uncover a narrative of power, profit, and the relentless struggle for justice. So join us as we uncover the dark history and secrets of the world's most popular soda drink, Coca-Cola. The origins and history of Coca-Cola. Colonel John Pemberton, a Confederate soldier injured in the American Civil War and struggling with morphine addiction, possessed a medical degree and embarked on a mission to discover an alternative to the troublesome drug. In 1885, at Pemberton's Eagle Drug and Chemical House in Columbus, Georgia, a nerve tonic called Pemberton's French Wine Coca was registered. Pemberton's tonic may have been influenced by the impressive popularity of Vin Mariani, a French Corsican coca wine. However, Pemberton's recipe also included the African cola nut, which provided the beverage with caffeine. In 1885, a Spanish drink called Cola Coca was introduced at a contest in Philadelphia, just a year before the official creation of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola acquired the rights to the Spanish beverage in 1953. In 1886, Atlanta and Fulton County implemented prohibition laws. In response, Pemberton created Coca-Cola, a non-alcoholic alternative to his previous product, Pemberton's French Wine Coca. During this time, Coca-Cola was marketed as Coca-Cola, the temperance drink, which resonated with a large number of individuals due to the widespread support for the temperance movement. The initial sales took place at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia, on May 8, 1886, with a price of 5 cents per glass. During that time, drugstore soda fountains gained popularity in the United States because people believed that carbonated water had health benefits. Pemberton's new drink was introduced as a patent medicine and marketed as a cure for various ailments, such as morphine addiction, indigestion, nerve disorders, headaches, and impotence. Pemberton placed the initial advertisement for the beverage in the Atlanta Journal on May 29th of that year. In 1888, 3 different versions of Coca-Cola were sold by 3 separate businesses. Pemberton and 4 Atlanta businessmen formed a co-partnership on January 14, 1888. The businessmen were J.C. Mayfield, A.O. Murphy, C.O. Malahi, and E.H. Bloodworth. According to Asa Chandler's testimony, he claimed to have obtained a share in Pemberton's company as far back as 1887, although this was not documented in writing. According to John Pemberton, he stated that his son Charlie had the right to the name Coca-Cola, while the other 2 manufacturers were allowed to keep using the formula. Charlie Pemberton's ability to control the Coca-Cola name played a crucial role in his involvement as a major shareholder in the March 1888 incorporation filing of the Coca-Cola Company, which was done on behalf of his father. Asa Candler was constantly frustrated by Charlie's complete control over the name Coca-Cola. In 1950, Emory University published a book written by Charles Howard Candler, the oldest son of Candler. In this biography about his father, Candler provides clear details about the purchase of Coca-Cola. According to Candler, on April 14, 1888, his father, Asa Griggs Candler, bought a 1/3 interest in the formula of a little-known elixir called Coca-Cola. The agreement was made between John Pemberton's son Charlie and Walker, Candler & Co., with John Pemberton serving as a co-signer for his son. Walker, Candler & Co., acquired Charlie's 1/3 interest in the Coca-Cola Company by paying $50 up front and an additional $500 within 30 days. However, Charlie retained ownership of the Coca-Cola name. On April 17, 1888, Candler purchased half of the Walker Dozier interest shares for an extra $750 following the April 14th deal. Despite Candler's increased control over Coca-Cola in April 1888, he was still compelled to sell the beverage he made using his recipe under the names Yum Yum and Coke. During the time when Charlie Pemberton was selling a less refined version of the elixir, he used the name Coca-Cola with his father's approval. In 1888, Candler, an Atlanta chemist, was determined to secure a stronger legal claim to Coca-Cola. He wanted to eliminate his competitors, Walker and Dozier, and establish his dominance in the business. On August 16, 1888, John Pemberton passed away unexpectedly. Asa Candler quickly moved forward to gain complete control of the entire Coca-Cola operation. Asa Candler found Charlie Pemberton to be particularly unsettling due to his struggles with alcoholism and opium addiction. According to reports, Candler wasted no time in securing the sole rights to the name Coca-Cola from Charlie Pemberton, the son of Dr. Pemberton, right after learning about the death of Dr. Pemberton. According to one account, Candler approached Charlie's mother during John Pemberton's funeral and made her an offer of $300 in cash for the naming rights. In its 1950 book about his father, Charles Howard Candler mentioned that on August 30th, 1888, Asa Candler became the sole proprietor of Coca-Cola. This information was prominently displayed on letterheads, invoice blanks, and advertising copy. On August 30th, 1888, Candler gained complete control, which was indeed true. Candler reached an agreement with Margaret Dozier and her brother Woolfolk Walker to make a payment of $1,000. They agreed that Candler could pay off this amount in installments over a set period of time. On May 1st, 1889, Candler asserted complete ownership of the Coca-Cola beverage. Candler had invested a total of $2,300 in the drink enterprise over the years. In 1914, Margaret Dozier, one of the co-owners of the original Coca-Cola Company, stated that her signature on the 1888 Coca-Cola Company bill of sale had been forged. Further examination of other comparable transfer documents also suggests that John Pemberton's signature may have been forged, possibly by his son Charlie, according to certain reports. In 1892, Candler embarked on the establishment of a second company known as the Coca-Cola Company, the present corporation. In 1910, Candler decided to destroy the earliest records of the Coca-Cola Company when the company was moving to new offices. This action was supposedly taken during the relocation process. Charlie Pemberton was discovered unconscious on June 23, 1894, with a stick of opium nearby. Charlie passed away at Atlanta's Grady Hospital after 10 days at the age of 40. For the first few decades of its existence, Coca-Cola preferred to be referred to by its full name, even though it was commonly called Coke. This occurred because the company was concerned that the term Coke would eventually become a generic trademark. This concern was partially validated in the southern United States, where Coke is commonly used to refer to non-Coca-Cola products. The company also wanted to avoid any confusion with a similarly named coal byproduct that was clearly unsafe for consumption. Finally, due to concerns about another company potentially claiming the trademark for Coke, Coca-Cola decided to embrace it and officially endorse the name Coke in 1941. The Coca-Cola Company officially registered Coke as a trademark in 1945. Now it is time for the dark secrets Coca-Cola tried to hide from us. Number 1. They were heavily exploiting farmers. The original Coca-Cola formula included a trace amount of cocaine. During the formula change, a company named Maywood Chemical Works, now known as the Stepan Company, imported coca leaves from Peru into the United States. After arriving in the United States, Stepan, who continues to import coca leaves for Coca-Cola, extracts the alkaloid that is essential for powdered cocaine. The decocainized coca leaf extract is then sent to Coca-Cola. What does Stepan do with the cocaine alkaloid? It is sold under government supervision for medical purposes. Throughout history, certain drug laws, such as the Harrison Narcotics Act of 1914 and the Jones-Miller Act of 1922, included provisions that allowed Coca-Cola to continue importing coca plants. This unique privilege set Coca-Cola apart as one of the few American companies permitted to import this plant. Over time, Coca-Cola became more and more popular, and Stepan found it difficult to sell all the cocaine alkaloids it extracted. As a result, specific legislation was enacted to allow Stepan to safely dispose of the surplus cocaine alkaloid with government oversight. It's worth noting that coca leaves have various uses beyond Coca-Cola and cocaine, such as tea, candies, and flour. However, due to drug laws aimed at preventing cocaine from entering the American market, coca farmers in Peru, known as Coca-Leros, are limited to accessing the American market solely through Coca-Cola. Due to the lack of multiple purchasers for their product, the Coca-Leros have no choice but to accept the terms set by Coca-Cola. Consequently, the farmers continue to struggle financially, while Coca-Cola generated a staggering $41 billion in 2016. Number 2. Coca-Cola and the Colombian Unions. At a Coca-Cola bottling plant in Corepa, Colombia, a right-wing paramilitary unit arrived on December 5, 1986. A union executive, Isidro Segundo Gil, approached a squad to inquire about their intentions, only to be met with a hail of gunfire that tragically ended his life. That evening, the paramilitary group arrived at the union's headquarters. They proceeded to dismantle their equipment and set fire to the building, ensuring that all records inside were destroyed. The following day, the paramilitary entered the bottling plant and presented the union workers with a grim ultimatum: either resign or meet the same fate as Gill. It's clear that a significant number of employees who were making $380 to $400 per month chose to resign from their positions. Following their departure, the paramilitary group took up residence in the bottling plant for a duration of 2 months. After the plant reopened, the union workers were substituted with workers who received a monthly salary of $130. Although there is no definitive proof linking anyone from Coca-Cola's main office to the murders, critics argue that Coca-Cola conducted minimal investigations into the incidents. Interestingly, they did not report to the Colombian government the paramilitary's actions of killing their workers or occupying their facility for 2 months. In addition, during the time of the assassination, the union workers were in the process of negotiating for improved working conditions with Bebidas y Alimentos, a bottling company that had a contract with Coca-Cola for production in South America. Following the tragic incident, Bebidas had consistently declined to engage in any form of negotiation with their employees. Other Coca-Cola unions were also targeted. Several other union members working with Coca-Cola in Colombia lost their lives, and the remaining members were given a grim ultimatum: leave the union or face the same fate. In 2001, the Sinaltrainal Union filed a lawsuit against Bebidas and Coca-Cola. However, in 2003, the motion against Coca-Cola was dismissed. Number 3. Misleading medical studies. A few years ago, the Coca-Cola company faced criticism when some of its research department employees came forward to report misconduct. Coca-Cola has long been associated with the marketing of beverages that are high in sugar and not considered healthy. We are all aware that Coca-Cola's beverages have a significant amount of sugar, which can contribute to obesity. Coca-Cola, however, funded scientists who shifted the blame onto individuals' lack of exercise. Coca-Cola aimed to convey that obesity was not solely determined by one's diet, but rather by their level of physical activity and exercise. Many individuals expressed concerns about Coca-Cola's data sharing practices, arguing that they failed to acknowledge the potential harm caused by sugary drinks. The company claimed that addressing obesity cannot be achieved by simply reducing calorie intake, a viewpoint that many nutritionists find contentious. Number 4. Actively promoted Coca-Cola over healthy options for kids. During the 1990s, numerous soft drink companies were competing for consumers in an already crowded market. Coca-Cola's strategy aimed to target high school students in order to establish long-term brand loyalty, similar to the tactics once employed by tobacco companies. In the mid-1990s, Coca-Cola began entering into pouring contracts with schools. Coca-Cola sought exclusive vending machine and cafeteria sales rights in return for the premiums paid to the schools. The schools, which frequently operated with limited funds, typically agreed to do it. Many schools received an upfront payment of $30,000 from Coca-Cola, along with a commission, in exchange for the exclusive rights to sell Coke products on their campuses for a decade. As an example, Coca-Cola donated $90,000 to a school in Syracuse, New York, to construct a stadium featuring a prominent Coca-Cola sign. Although it may not appear overly nefarious, the situation becomes questionable when schools are incentivized to promote and sell Coke, with the promise of bonuses for higher sales. Additionally, they were informed that selling healthier options, such as milk or fruit juices, would result in lower profits compared to soft drinks. In certain instances, schools were unable to offer healthier options due to restrictions imposed by Coca-Cola. Now, over 2 decades later, America is facing a widespread obesity crisis. Undoubtedly, Coca-Cola has played a role in this issue, and they have openly recognized this in their own reports. Obesity has been the primary challenge to Coca-Cola's profitability over the past decade. Number 5. Originally contained cocaine. There was a time when Coca-Cola included small amounts of cocaine in their beverages. Believe it or not, the fizzy drink actually used to contain the drug. It may sound like a silly urban legend, but but it's true. There have been numerous debates about the ingredients used in the drink, but it is a known fact that Coca-Cola used to include coca leaves in their products, and some believe they may still do so. The leaves contain cocaine alkaloids, which can be used to produce cocaine. In 1903, the company started gradually phasing out cocaine from their beverages. This decision was primarily driven by concerns raised by many white Americans regarding the increasing number of African Americans purchasing Coca-Cola. A lot of people were unable to use the fountains, so they resorted to purchasing their own beverages instead. White Americans were concerned about potential harm from the drug-filled liquid, prompting Coca-Cola to discontinue using the leaves. Number 6. Labor rights violations and union busting. Coca-Cola has a troubling past when it comes to labor rights violations, including union busting and worker exploitation. These issues were particularly prevalent in the 1980s and 1990s. Throughout this time, the company found itself involved in numerous labor disputes, including one particularly infamous incident in Colombia. Here, a strike resulted in the unfortunate killing of multiple union leaders, which drew global focus to Coca-Cola's labor practices. Paramilitary groups targeted union members, allegedly with the approval of local bottling plant managers, leading to accusations of the company's complicity in the violence. The problems extended beyond Colombia. Coca-Cola has also received considerable backlash for its treatment of workers in developing countries, where labor laws are frequently either lenient or inadequately enforced. Workers in countries such as India, Mexico, and the Philippines have raised concerns about unfavorable working conditions, low pay, and insufficient benefits. These practices are often facilitated by the lack of strong regulations in these regions, which allows multinational corporations to operate with little oversight or accountability. There have been numerous allegations that Coca-Cola has used forceful methods to hinder union activities. Workers who have tried to organize have been subjected to intimidation, termination, and even physical harm. These actions have contributed to the company's tarnished reputation due to a history of labor rights violations. Coca-Cola still faces challenges from past issues despite its attempts to present itself as a responsible company through various public relations campaigns. In addition, advocacy groups and labor organizations have consistently pointed out Coca-Cola's failures to meet international labor standards. There is a growing demand for more transparency and stricter enforcement of labor rights worldwide due to the company's practices. The labor disputes surrounding Coca-Cola's history serve as a clear reminder of the ongoing challenges faced by workers in their fight for rights against powerful corporations, especially in areas where labor protections are lacking. Number 7. False advertising. It is clear that Coca-Cola has ambitions to become the largest beverage company globally. It's likely that they are. Despite their small size, they have been actively acquiring companies to maximize their profits. Here's a brief overview of the events that took place in India in 1977. Coca-Cola has started expanding its presence in India by making its products available at local stores. Regrettably, their performance did not meet their expectations. Due to poor sales, Coca-Cola decided to withdraw from the market to prevent further financial losses. Later, in 1977, an Indian company named Thumbs Up introduced their own carbonated beverage. Another company had the chance to step in after Coca-Cola's departure. Coca-Cola acquired Thumbs Up Company and subsequently rebranded it. Many people mistakenly believe that their money is going to Thumbs Up when in reality it goes directly to Coca-Cola. In other words, Coca-Cola markets its product without anyone even realizing it. Number 8. Employees dying. It's unfortunate that several workers at a Coca-Cola factory in Colombia lost their lives despite the seemingly safe nature of the job. In 1986, the day began like any other until the factory was unexpectedly attacked by a group of armed individuals from a nearby paramilitary organization. An executive from Coca-Cola in Colombia attempted to persuade the men to depart, but unfortunately, they declined and tragically took the life of the executive. The paramilitary group issued a stern ultimatum to Coca-Cola: either remain silent and depart, or face dire consequences. Naturally, the employees promptly vacated the factory, allowing the group to assume ownership and make it their own. Coca-Cola continues to face criticism for its lack of effort in investigating the reasons behind this murder. Furthermore, after the factory reopened, the majority of the initial employees were let go. What are your thoughts on Coca-Cola's labor practices? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. Thanks for watching.